Hello, I just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about what's expected with the final project and what the various stages are. So by now, hopefully you have found your way to the final project folder, and the goal really is for you to apply your learning from this class and bring it to the next stage and begin to lead with one of these ideas. So to begin with, what I'm going to ask you to do is really begin thinking about inquiry as a design principle. Last week, you all did your learner inquiry projects, and now what I really want you to think about is how might you embed that into your work as an educator. And so there's two readings. Chapter 1 from The Power of Inquiry from Warren Berger's book, A More Beautiful Question, about why do questions allow us to think differently about how we approach teaching and learning? And then also looking at writing better, how might we questions. The how part assumes there are solutions out there. It provides creative confidence. Might says we can put ideas out there that might work or might not. Either way, it's okay. And the we part says we're going to do it together and build on each other's ideas. And that's sort of the foundation for this, is that you're going to create an applied project, either a curriculum design redesign or a professional development series around a how might we question, where you'll engage your learners, whether they're students or adults, in thinking about a challenge using technology to support the learning, but ultimately really getting at those 4 C's that we started with in the beginning of the course. So some more work here around design thinking and some other inspiration if you want to check these out. Again, you'll have the next 3 weeks to work on this, so it's 24 to 30 hours of work on the project. And what I've done is that there's option A, option B, and then option C. And do notice with option C that it's you design. You propose something different. There's some different expectations if you do the you design, and along with that, a different timeline to check in with me just to make sure you're on the right track. But I really encourage you to take advantage of the you design if there's a way that you can honor these outcomes in a more meaningful way for you. So the unit design redesign, if you open this, it will take you to this Google Doc. And what I would recommend is that you create a template for this or create a copy of this document. You are welcome to work in the document and then have it on your website, or you're welcome to use both of those. Just make it clear where I can find the content. And the yellow text that you've got here is going to be kind of what's due in that first round of submission, and then you'll complete the rest for the final. So, again, there's sort of information about the context, the resources, digital citizenship, the session design and delivery of how are you going to do the teaching, what are your how might we questions for the unit, your content alignment, your instructional time, and then handouts, visuals, videos that you've created for learning and hyperlink them before. Student sample for the final multimedia project they'll be creating. So this you would work all the way through. What would it be that they would create at the end of this learning experience? How will you assess the learning, the technology skills, the work habits, and so at least one rubric. Then you need to create an invitation to learn and create an announcement for learners and parents about the unit. I'd encourage you to do a video, kind of a trailer for the unit to frame and help your learners think about that big how might we question. A self-assessment there down at the bottom, and just asking you to reflect on where you've mastered some of the course outcomes through this. So that's the curriculum design redesign. The professional development has the same headings for the document. It also has the yellow of kind of the first parts that I'll ask you to address, and then you'll complete the rest. And for this, you're really talking about what's the evidence that there's a need for this professional development. again, what are your central how might we question? What are some ideas, and then what's your central one? Again, how are you going to bring out the topic of digital citizenship with your adult learners in this professional development? Resources that you are providing for your learners, and then again, session design and delivery. And the goal of this professional development is not to train them to use Google Classroom. It is to help them think about that. How might we question? How might we design more collaborative learning? Here's one tool, Google Classroom. Here's another tool, Edmodo. Here's how you might open up your classroom with Twitter. Okay, so again, please avoid in this model doing a technical training. That's insufficient for what I'm asking you to do here, where you're framing it around a goal and an inquiry question, and then using the technology to support them. Again, the way that you're going to design the learning for the professional development is slightly different, so take a look at this document. Again, still an invitation to learn. And then the self-assessment piece is consistent with the other, the curriculum redesign piece. So both of these, regardless of which option you choose, will use the same assessment tool, and you can see what that looks like in terms of the kind of elements and sort of how the different ones are weighted depending on you know, the various elements. So that's what the assessment looks like. And again, you can find the assessment by clicking on this link right here. One of the questions that I would expect you to have is, for instance, say you do this curriculum redesign and with the resources section, in your inquiry project, you just found resources for you or for the teacher and for the student. You certainly may have those resources appear here, but move beyond copying and pasting. If you're going to say for last week you found that you really liked EduClipper as a website and you want to explore it, for this week you would take EduClipper and start to build your initial board. Take it one step further so that you are really starting to build out the learning experiences. Last week was a bit more theoretical, and this week start the work of building it. If you're going to do KidBlog and you want to set it up, take that next step of loading your kids' names in, setting up your account, those pieces. So certainly use what you've done in previous work, but go beyond copying and pasting for this week and kind of take it to the next level so that when you're done with this project, the goal is that you've got something that's ready to roll out, either as a professional development to your school or your colleagues, maybe a conference, or you know, potentially a unit that you can put in play in January through June of next year. With regards to the timeline, down here, you'll see that basically I've got everything that's due between now and the end of the class is going to all be mapped onto this Create Learning Evidence piece so that you can see, and you'll note that the dates are a little bit different. It's off of the Monday night submission. So do take a look at that so you can make sure that you are clear about when those are due. And you know, can complete the class well with especially the holiday and the end of term at school as well. So any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to talk through ideas that you've got and really look forward to seeing what you each design.